The medical establishment doesn't want you to watch this video, and I'm going to tell you why. Yes, the medical establishment, the American Medical Association, all the associations you belong to as a doctor, doesn't want you to watch this video because because they want to control you and sell access to you to everyone else. The medical establishment has always been about the medical establishment, not you, the doctors. Yes, they're supposed to protect you. Yes, they're supposed to get you better fees and reimbursement and fight for your rights against insurance plans, get you higher reimbursement from Medicare, and also preserve physician autonomy. But they have failed miserably, and they continue to use you to sell your data and your information to everyone else, including big pharma and now tech companies. AI is the talk of the town. And I just read the AMA has created this new center for digital innovation or something with AI. And they think that what they want to do, they think that you're going to be fooled. What they really want to do is to use that center to get sponsorship so they can tell you about how great they're doing with AI and doctors. Meanwhile, you're still suffering. You, the doctor, is still suffering because of low fees, no autonomy. You can't practice medicine the way you went to school for. Somebody's holding your back, holding your hands at your back to do the right thing for the patient. And simply because of cost. You have less status in society and you're not making enough money. And you don't have time for patient care. What used to be the purpose of the medical establishment, which is to protect physician rights and interest, has gotten to be a corporatization. These medical associations are nothing more setups for supporting the leadership and the salaries and the bonuses and preserving the jobs of those in power, not to you, not to you. But I've got an answer for you. I think there's a way out. My name is Bob. My wife is a doctor. She struggled with the same idea. She used to pay her dues every single year for her medical association. And she got what? A magazine, a journal with the executive team taking photos and showing you their pictures in Congress fighting for your rights. While the memberships have declined in these societies, she got sick and tired of it. She started paying dues when she after school, and then when she started her clinic, when she started her practice. And what happened is all those dues every year after year after she got the journal, and she's like, wait a minute, my insurance reimbursement has gone down. I have less time for patient care. I'm fighting private equity. I'm fighting this competition. I'm also not getting paid anymore. People don't call me doctors anymore. They call me providers, and I look like everybody else wearing figs, scrubs. And so what is this world coming to? And so she got frustrated and we're talking and she decided that she wanted to pivot into a cash-based system. And it was really hard. It was really, really hard in the beginning. She saw a need in the market. She said, okay, I can take some of these primary care patients and then get them into specialty care, which is what they needed. And I can charge a cash-based system. And she did that. She was able to do that and to grow her business and grow her life tremendously. But it took three important things. One, understanding that you can't rely on anyone else except yourself. You cannot rely on the medical profession. You cannot rely on the medical establishment. You cannot rely on your local state-based associations. They are there to sell sponsorship to pharmaceutical companies and other companies. They're there to preserve their salaries. They're there not for you, but for themselves. So the first most important thing I want to share with you, which we learned in helping her move out of this rat race of the relying on the medical establishment and relying on insurance plans to pivot is that rule number one, you're on your own. And that is very powerful. It doesn't mean you're alone. It means you're on your own, that it's up to you to create a practice that's right for you, that fits for you. And that's really powerful. That should be empowering. Okay. That should be empowering. The second thing you've got to learn is you're not going to learn from those establishment forums, conferences, platforms, or any of that other nonsense. That's all BS. You don't learn by going to the medical conferences. You learn by going to the business conferences. So she started going to personal development programs all over the country, all over the world. She got herself engaged in business and understanding business management, understanding psychology, understanding marketing. Myself, I'm a marketer. I grew up in a big company doing marketing and sales and operations. I helped her in her clinic. So she and I got to work together. And, we fought as a husband and wife do, but we also learned to make it work, learn the science, the medical, and the marketing and make that work. So you're going to learn from channels like me and so many other channels, our channels, so many other channels, so many other places that are there for you. So you're going to learn in different places. You're not going to go to medical meetings to learn about marketing and business. That's not what they do. They're there to promote their agenda of these medical conferences to get sponsorship dollars, gold sponsors. That's what they want. They don't want you. They want to sell your data to them. Number three, the most important thing that you need to learn to move away, to not rely on the medical establishment, is that there is a way out. There is a way to build a life and career that works for you, work that matters, fulfilling work, helping patients with a serious problem that they have, and then presenting to them solutions, treatments, and options and therapies that are good for them and that make you money. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's really important to realize that there's patients out there that are a subset of your population today that may need certain conditions managed properly. And the trouble is when you see that, you don't know how to get them to buy from you. You need to create a product or an offering to buy from you. Okay, so that's what we did. So I'm going to teach you that. I'm going to teach you how we did that in my wife's clinic, in my wife's practice, so to help you get you going. Okay, but I want you to realize these three things. It's really important ultimately is to get going to build that practice. Okay, I'm going to share a number of videos with you over the next few months to share with you exactly the formula that we used to grow from zero to millions when it comes to getting shifting and pivoting your business to make it work for you and your practice, and not relying on insurance plans, not relying on the medical establishment that has these conferences that everyone goes to and where they sell sponsorships to these big pharmaceutical companies. Okay, it's not about them, it's about you, and that's what matters most. Okay, so one thing I want to share real quickly I want to share a few things with you, a little nuggets before you go, just to share like what really matters and why this medical establishment, this medical establishment is always brainwashing you into thinking that medical protocols and all of those guidelines are so important, because they develop those guidelines, folks, with the pharmaceutical industry. Okay, they develop them in collaboration with pharma because of treatments and treatment guidelines and KOLs. I know this because guess what? I worked for big pharma. I worked for one of the largest pharmaceutical companies in the world for 23 years. For 23 years. I worked the convention booths. I worked with KOLs. I worked with the presidents and CEOs of these medical societies around the world. Okay. And I want you to know that what is important for you to pivot is to stop listening to these medical associations and medical societies and the medical establishment, and start listening to some fundamental sense that's going to be important for growing your business. And that's the following. First, every single doctor has an opportunity to have a private pay offering. Every single doctor has an opportunity to have a private pay, cash-based offering in your clinic. I don't care if you're in internal medicine, in cardiology, optometry, ophthalmology, pain management, podiatry, whatever that is, there is enough business in your current patient base that is walking through your system every single day to have a portion, 10, 20% of your patients that are coming into your practice have some sort of problem or condition that insurance will not cover the treatment for. There's 10 to 20%. In many cases, I've seen this in optometry, in dry eye disease, for example, 40% who come in have some sort of dry eyes, and the treatments are not covered by insurance. And there is the opportunity. So every one of you must realize you have buried treasure already in your clinic. That's really, really important. You have buried treasure. Number two, you've got to change your mindset. This is a mindset problem. When you want to grow your business and your practice and fight the establishment, you need to understand a different mindset. When you work in the insurance market, it's go see exam after exam after exam, and you get paid, let's say $200, $100 for one sort of session, one exam by the insurance plans. And the mindset you have to shift to get to $5,000 for a patient, per patient in many cases, okay? Per patient in many cases for, let's say, a certain condition, it takes a different mindset. You cannot show the patient the same kind of treatment, the same kind of experience that you do with your traditional practice. They won't buy. Patients will not sign up for your specialty treatments by doing the same thing over and over again. So you've got to change your psychology, your mindset about how to look at this patient in a different way. And the third thing, and the last thing I want to share with you, is really, really important, is that you've got to be focused on a niche if you really want to grow your medical practice. Find a niche, a subspecialty where it's either out of network or cash-based, there's a need and there's a problem, and you can develop a solution for that problem. Let me give you a very specific example. Today, more and more patients want longevity cures and treatment. Longevity. That means they're not about the hypertension drug or the cholesterol drug or the diabetes drug. They're really about hyper optimizing their health for the future. Men today, like I'm a guy. I go to my friends, I go to dinner with my friends, and we pull out our blood tests, what testosterone, what dose you're on. Are you taking this supplement? Are you taking that? Are you taking creatine? Are you taking this? So all of these treatments and these supplements we're taking on our own, but we don't have necessarily a doctor who can manage that. So if you're in primary care, this is a wonderful opportunity to create a concierge-based program that you can have a subspecialty in, a focus in, an expertise in, that allows you to market your service for that market. So men, testosterone, NMN, all of these supplements, all these questions guys typically have about longevity, that is a great market for you to get into if you're doing primary care, if that interests you. If you have men between the ages of 40 and 60, 65, and they want to hyper optimize longevity, that is a beautiful service that you can offer them. $2,500 a year, $7,500 a year. Pick a number, pick a service line, blood test, check, conversation, etc., so that you can market to them and grow your business. Okay, I want to wrap up here. Let's wrap up. The number one thing that we talked about today, and this is really important, guys, the medical establishment is not for you. They are not there set up anymore to help you, the practicing doctor. You're not going to get the help and support from those who have failed you for the last decades, from getting hammered by insurance plans, hammered into practices and into services that or taking away your freedoms. The medical establishment has stood by while your freedoms of autonomy, clinical autonomy, your social status in society, your fees have been eroded, and they've done nothing. Nothing. So don't count on them. And the good news is you can count on yourself. There's a lot of power and being free to pursue the interest, the noble cause that you have as a doctor today. And I want you to pursue that with fervor. I want you to pursue that with passion. I want you to give it your all because you have that greatness within you to help serve more patients and serve yourself. So this is Bob Miglani. I hope you do great things. I look forward, and comment. Give me a comment if you like this video. Love to hear from you what you think. Thank you very much. Have a good day.